गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. So last time we understood Vishad Yoga, first chapter. So what is Vishad Yoga? Vishad means grief, suffering, pain, affliction, etc. etc. But why we have added yoga there? Can grief be yoga? When I live in awareness, objectify the grief, and I want a solution, it becomes a yoga. Always rub your hands with sanitizer before you enter into the world nowadays, so that the virus will not enter into your body. So, what it means? Secure your mind with the Eastern wisdom before you perform your duties in the world. See that? See that? No, it is like, I always, initially I used to teach in an academic way. That does not make a sense. It has to be taught in a way so that you can really enter into that mode, that state of the mind which will help you. Just example, the world is the water and the mind is the milk. If you pour milk into the water, they become one. You cannot find the pure milk anymore, right? But before you mix the milk into the water, make it a curd, churn it into a butter, and then throw that butter into the world of water. They never get mixed up. So you objectify your suffering. So suffering is there, you are here, so you have a right understanding. Okay, now I know from where the suffering has come, and I can now change my life. Are you getting it? That is the message the Gita is compressed, or you can say Gita contains the teachings of all the 3,000 books and the text available. It is the teaching of all the teachers. My regular routine is that every month I study only one chapter of the Gita. So it takes me about 18 months, and I contemplate and reflect on it. And every time I contemplate and reflect, knowledge reveals within something differently. Provided you should know how to study, how to reflect on this. So, see that in that context, Gita, I'm taking one uh, verse from the second chapter that will make the things clear. Here it is. It says, Neha bhikramana shusti pratyavayo no vidyate swalapam pyasya swalapam api yasya dharmasya trayate meheto bhayat. So if you gain the right knowledge, bypassing the blind belief, you take a single step. No effort is lost. No obstacle prevails. Where? In your day to day living. Even a little of this knowledge with clarity and practice delivers you from great fears and the great grief and the suffering. It is that book. It is that text. It's a live teaching. It's a live teaching. It it teaches you through the interaction. Mind has doubt. Doubt converts into an action. Doubt converts into a question. And when that converts into a question, ah, when that converts into a question, very good, keep eating. I was just talking about ah, curd and the cream. No, 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 keep eating, no worries. So you see that on this path, no effort is lost, no obstacle prevails. And a little of this knowledge, but that little knowledge should be clear, followed by the practice, delivers you from the great fears, grief, problems, suffering. Am I making this statement to all these great masters for the last 6,000 years? So, the second chapter, we will take up in a little detail, couple of maybe 4 or 5 weeks. Why? Because I am suffering. I have a lot of problems in my life. So, how the master Krishna responds to my grief, my suffering? You know, now I'm just giving a blueprint of the second chapter. That's why we say we will take up this in couple of, we'll understand it in couple of weeks. So I'm just, raising a question. Oh, I'm suffering from negative emotions, feeling stress. I have problem with my, with my husband or wife or with my kids, with my boss. What? So how the master responds? Now see, that is what is explained in the second chapter. Then sometime when I'm suffering, say I'm suffering from a problem with my honey, and I give you a solution, then you become defensive. So that is explained how normally our mind becomes defensive. And then the Master Krishna says, come on, I will break all your defenses. I know where is the problem. That is the beauty of the Gita. It is only in the second chapter. We have to cover 18 chapters. Then what happens? So, first, Krishna breaks that defense, and then what happens? Then he starts teaching yoga. Real yoga begins there. He says the real yoga is Sankhya Yoga. What is Sankhya? Sankhya means number 2 plus 2, 4. Belief is what? 2 plus 3 is 4. Sankhya means simply counting, number. See, that is why our masters named it. So then he starts. What is Jnana Yoga? How to eliminate grief and suffering. He gives the answer. So first he gives the answer how to eliminate grief and suffering in the second chapter. In the same chapter, he said, now understand what exactly is Sankhya Yoga. Then he goes on explaining, if you do not know this yoga, this Eastern wisdom, if people do not know it, how those people think, speak, and act in their life. See the beauty of this second chapter. You get answers of these questions. How ordinary? No, if the people does not know about this Eastern wisdom, they don't have a knowledge. So how those people act and react in their day-to-day life? So what is that knowledge? If I'm studying, I know Alexandria is reacting in this way, so let me remain silent. Alexandria is responding in this way, So let I have a total control. See that. That is what Gita teaches. Second chapter. Then he teaches what Lara was talking in the previous chapter, previous session, that we have past impressions, accumulated impression. So it says, it explains you what is your essential nature, one, that we discover, and what is superficial nature superimposed on the real nature that causes all the suffering. Don't you know? I am Alexandria. I will teach you a lesson. This is, oh, your honey has come. Very good. So, you see that? So it teaches you don't get rid of their superficial nature. That is causing the problem. That is, you are using superficial nature in your activity, in your life, including your love life. That causes the problem. So then he teaches a little bit of what exactly is karma yoga in the same chapter. It's a little longer chapter. Then the second chapter also gives you a guidance to those people who claim that they are suffering. They are not meant for suffering, but if you feel that you are suffering, so our master Krishna comes and says, okay, here is my guidance. And the last almost 10 to 20 verses, he teaches what he teaches. Your intellect, how your intellect should never be corrupted. It should remain in the wisdom. It should be settled in the right knowledge. It is the intellect that says you are crazy, and from there the story of the suffering begins, right? So in the 1020 Sutra, I would say 20 or maybe 30 verses, he teaches who is the man of steady wisdom. Man, the person of steady wisdom, is really not only a seeker, a practitioner of yoga. Understand that. Everything is internal. You cannot get rid of the problem with your relations and the near and dear ones, even if you practice a headstand posture for 10 years. You cannot say to the honey who disagrees with you, let me do headstand posture, look at me, all your problems will be solved. We are not talking of that yoga. We are talking of the yoga of steady wisdom. Knowledge is already settled 100%. This is all about second chapter. See that beauty. That is what Gita. And now you see that, who, when we were born, our mom takes care, loves. Even if the mom is in the kitchen, intuitively she knows my son and daughter. My baby is crying. I have to go there, rush there. So many masters say Gita is our mother. Why the Gita is mother? Anytime, anywhere, any kind of suffering. If you know what Gita teaches, you will get out of the problem. That is why sometimes we say Gita is our mother. There are two types of blind. One is physically blind. That is what last time we understood. And other, we become blind in our mind, intellect, and ego. Why the mind, intellect, and ego becomes blind? Because I am projecting happiness, and that projection of happiness in the world outside, intellect supports it, ego gets obsessed with it, and that is creating a lot of problem in our daily life. You know, the last verses, it talks about steady wisdom. Steady wisdom, steady knowledge of who am I, what is this world, what is the existence, and how to think, speak, and work in this world is what is about second chapter. Clarity with the knowledge. 2 plus 2 is 4. That is why it is Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya, counting. So, as we understood from the previous session, there are two cousins. They were fighting the war. That war is within all of us. Why I have negative emotions? Why I am suffering? What happened? You are responsible. You are not responsible. So that war is continuous within us. That is converted into a different characters in the Gita. I want a solution from the mind, and I'm fighting my own mind. That is why characters, two cousins, are fighting. I have a craving for pleasure from you. You are not ready, but I am fighting within my mind. One example. See, create a scenario. Why I am suffering without anyone outside, I cannot suffer. You drop all the objects and the people from the world. Tell me, where are you suffering? No suffering at all. No negative or positive emotion. No, that is what we studied just now. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. I am settled in my own nature. Are you getting it? I'm laying a foundation of the second chapter. Inner fight continues within us all the time. All the time. Inner fight. If you see this beer guy is speaking so clearly, can I speak like him? Jealousy. Inner fight continues. Inner fight continues all the time, 24 by 7. Oh, this weird guy speaks like a crazy. I don't want to listen. Another fight has come into your mind. It doesn't affect me, it is affecting you. You see, honey is performing some action that you don't like. Inner conflict comes because of disliking. Master is saying, I will give you the solution. Don't worry. I know your inner fight. I know you are always moving. Do you believe your honey 100%? I can find out with your smile. Inner conflict is already present there. For some time, we have an opportunity to be into the pleasure. You see that? So, what is required? Shravanam. Master says they give you 4 steps. Shravanam. Shravanam means listening and learning from a teacher. So when you listen and learn from a teacher, it is known as satsanga. What the teacher has to teach, what this beer guy has to teach, nothing. What he knows, nothing. He passes on that knowledge after personalizing based on an individual and a group. So simple. So you listen to me, very good. I don't say I'm the best selling author. I don't say I'm a motivational speaker. We don't need it. It is the knowledge that will inspire you. See the beauty of this journey of the Eastern wisdom. From the first point, it drops all those things that may create a conflict. So first step is Shravanam, listening and learning from a teacher who personalizes this teaching. It's a very big Pandora box. So how you can choose what to study, how to study, where to study. Huh? The book cannot answer your doubts and questions. You see, live teacher. So the first is, it is known as satsang. Seven is after second step. After listening and learning, that is not finished. The second step, that you listen it again, close your eyes, contemplate and reflect. Why you contemplate? Make your intellect clear. Let there be a conviction in the mind with that knowledge. Then continue asking the questions. Why? To remove the doubt. What is doubt? When the knowledge sleeps, that is known as a doubt in Eastern wisdom. You need not to doubt me, you have to doubt your own mind. Knowledge is sleeping, that is what the doubt is. So, whenever your mind says, I have a doubt, when the mind says, I have a doubt, let me revisit, let me contemplate and reflect, let me listen it again, let me contemplate on the principle again. Normally, people say, I know what yoga is. 26 postures, or 27, sometimes I commit mistaken. I used to do 108 postures long back in my 84, 85. And I used to demonstrate even the headstand posture before my master. And he tolerated me for 2 years. He said, oh, every time I used to do it and return for meditation, after meditation, he used to ask me, did anything happen to you after doing that posture for half an hour? I said, what do you mean? What do you mean? No, no, I'm asking you, did anything happen? And he continued to ask the same question. And I said, nothing happened to me. Then he said, why you are doing it? So the next question from my side, that should I not do it? No, no, I'm not saying. I also used to do it in my young age and nothing happened to me. So I left it. I restricted myself to few postures that will keep my body steady so that my mind is ready for meditation. I got the answer. It is not physical exercise. It is not gym. It is not calisthenic. Huh? It is not aerobic. It is not anaerobic. But we say, if you do these postures, no worries. Even you have done aerobic and aerobic. Am I misguiding my students or guiding? My intent is different. Continue. It adds oh yes, it adds aerobic. So he does it, and after a few sessions, he asks another thing. So I add, oh, it gives you, it makes you build your muscles. Asana is to be done for building the muscles of the mind, not the muscles of the body. You see that muscles of the... So, with that background information, now see that. Now see, there is another character introduced who is objectively watching the seeker. What he is watching the seeker? So he's watching the seeker. It's a long, but you can understood. So that see that you can say who is a guide, who is saying what Krishna says. So in this second chapter starts with that guy says that The seeker is suffering, his eyes is fully distressed with the tears, his heart is overcome by depression and discouragement. Madhusudan, the word Madhusudan means the Krishna, the teacher. What is the meaning of Madhusudan? He killed the demon named Madhu. That is why we say Madhusudan. So now he is saying that guy is known as Sanjay. Huh? Be very rational. So Sanjay is explaining, this guy is suffering from lot of, sometimes what happens, you become very objective to your near and dear ones, who is sleeping and who is crazy, who is becoming angry. Come on, I will take you to a psychiatrist. No, no, I'm just giving an example, kid. And then you are sitting beside, huh? And then you say, no, 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 you have a lot of other problems. So he's explaining to the psychiatrist, the person who is not suffering. He's a spectator, he's a witness. So Sanjay is a witness. So now Sanjay is explaining the condition of the seeker. And who is the seeker? Is the Arjuna. Huh? Huh? Is Arjuna. So Arjuna has already explained, fully in distress. So now our Krishna master answers. And that is the beauty of the beginning of a background knowledge. What he says. Are you suffering? Distressed? Do you say you have problem with your brothers or your honey? Whatever is the situation is. This stain and darkness of the self in the hour of difficulty and peril? O seeker, this is not the way the brave men experience the suffering. This mood came out from not from the heaven, nor it can lead to the heaven. And on the earth, it is forfeiting of the glory. Let me put this also. So now see that, now compare this. What a psychiatrist will say, oh, oh, you have an anxiety. Okay, from when it has come? Oh, because of my husband, my wife did it, or my brother did it. My took away the money. See, okay, okay, that's natural. You should definitely suffer from the stress if somebody else is causing the problem. You see that? You see? And now here the talk therapy. Krishna begins the talk therapy. He says, "You are crazy. In this hour of difficulty and the challenging circumstances, if you think like this, if you bring your tears in your eyes, come on, you are crazy, not the others." Message is very clear. Can I understand that? Only a seeker can understand. What society, near and dear ones guide you. You know what layers. They will just say, okay, come on, go there. Other is responsible, take divorce and fight with them. And our master Krishna disapproves, disagrees, rejects the condition of the seeker who claims that I am suffering from stress and anxiety and duality and a conflict. He says, no, I disapprove it. Forget about it. You are not. What? 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 When this, now three words are there in this Anarya Justam Aswargayam Akirtikarakam Akirti Karam. Three words. And then we will understand these three words and you will see the entire understanding of the human psychology is there. Krishna says, yesterday you were so happy, bubbling with the energy. I have seen your life is full of wisdom. You do very good in your work at a workplace. You have a good relationship with everyone. And today you are suffering from anxiety, tears are coming down. You're suffering from grief. What happened to that wisdom that you had yesterday? You go to a psychiatrist, you get a different counseling, or a psychotherapist. Come on, let me dig deep down. Okay, let me dig deep down into you to find out from where the stress has come. No, no, no. You are bound to suffer from anxiety because you have those deep inside. And what the Krishna is saying, where your wisdom has gone, till yesterday you were so good. Are you getting it? Can I recall that wisdom in my life? Today I have a negative emotion, no worries. What I was yesterday. Let me start from there. So there are three words that's worthy of knowing that will give you a clarity. Anarya Justam, you are known as a man of wisdom, you are known as a person of wisdom. I have seen you. To Krishna, the Master says, I have seen you. You are living a beautiful, wonderful life, personal life, professional life. Everyone says that. Everyone says in the society. And so he says, why, where that wisdom has gone? Anarya Justam, unworthy. You are totally unworthy. You have proved until now to a great fighter, and now you are feeling dejected, despair, distressed. Come on. First message. See that? First message. Second message. If you follow this path of grief and the suffering, you will not find heaven here. You will not find heaven after the death also. Means there cannot be end of the suffering. Do you see that? You will go to hell instead of heaven. Can you say to the people who are hypnotized by the modern knowledge and understanding, if you are suffering from anxiety, can anyone say, oh, don't, you are crazy, you will go to hell? No. But the Master Krishna is straightforward. Why he is straightforward? Because Arjuna is the seeker. You say these words only to a seeker. Many people come to me also. So I follow according to their mindset. No, no, you are very good, good, good. No, it will happen. Unless the time comes, I become totally straight. So there are many ways of teaching in yoga. So that is the second one. And the third one, what he says, on akirti karam, this behavior, if this state of affairs is perceived by others, people will talk about you in a distasteful terms that look at this, he was guiding other people and now he and she is suffering. So we have a fear. That is why we hide ourselves. That is why every time we meet a stranger, we stretch our cheeks to show the smile, but pain is there inside. It is not natural. You see, the master is attacking your ignorance by these three words. That is the message of the Gita. In the second chapter, attacking your ignorance, your incomplete knowledge. Until today, until now, until yesterday, huh? You are bubbling with energy, you have everything is good, and something happened in relationship to the world outside, and you have tears in your eyes. You're distressed. How weak you are. Bring the same steady wisdom again. Become a seeker. Start thinking. What a great teaching. Think of it. Think of it. Are you a seeker? Hell with you being a seeker. I am suffering from lot of problems. First, I have to solve my problems. Come on, do you have that wisdom in you? Until yesterday, you had that. And then you say, hell with that wisdom also. I didn't know. I didn't know my honey was cheating me. Do you see that? Check your mind, check your intellect. Are you a seeker or not? But when a teacher of the Eastern wisdom guides you, even if you are a seeker, you are not you are not convinced. Why you are not convinced? I'm relating here. Kate might be knowing, and definitely Kate knows. I read a couple of papers, I think a couple of years back, maybe 3 and 4 years back. And there were more than 10, 15 research publications. What that says, that those suffering from anxiety or depression or mental challenges, and if it becomes chronic, in a scientific language, their IQ goes up 30% more than ordinary healthy people. It's a fact. 10, I read more than 10 research papers that if you're suffering from any mental disorder and if it is chronic, then your IQ goes up 30%. Don't you see those people when they go to psychotherapist and psychiatrist, even the psychiatrist and psychotherapist get upset? What the hell you are putting? All the logic is totally wrong. Take these pills, I will help you. In the second chapter, once the Krishna says to the teacher, to the seeker, so now the seeker comes in defense of his own problem. That is why anxious people do it. Do you see that? Those people, they come out in a defense. My dad, you see, everything is okay, but my dad. Everything is okay. I love my honey too much, but only this problem. So sometime I ask, do you love your honey 99%? Yes. Do you have a problem of 1%? Yes. Bring 99% over 1%. Bye bye. No. No, that is the problem. That is why I have come to you. Their IQ is very, but they take a defense. Huh? They take a defense. So here is the same problem. The Arjuna, the seeker, takes a defense. But before Arjuna should take a defense, now the Krishna says, Klavyam ma smogam. Parth, now etat tvai upadatyate. It's such a beautiful way to verse number 2.3. I will just put it again, and that is also a wonderful verse. Now, Krishna continues before he comes out of his defense what he says now after explaining. Huh? You have heard it. So, what he says, fall not from the virility of the fighter and the hero. What he says, he directly hits the seeker, Arjuna, Krishna, the master. If I say even any word seriously, even simply if I say you are crazy, you will stop listening to me. The hell with you. What a kind of a teacher you are. But here the teacher says, because you feel you are suffering, because you feel you have the problem, until yesterday you do not have a problem. Hence, You show you are important. That is the word Krishna uses. You are important. How long you lived in peace and happiness, love and wisdom before this stress has come to your life? The stress and the suffering remained for an hour, 23 hours you lived in peace, and you are saying, I am gone, I'm going to die, I have tears in my eyes. Krishna says you are important. Finished. Weakling. Important means you're weak. Nothing will happen to you. Understand. Self awareness. I am a seeker. Krishna, my goodness. That is the beauty of this teaching. Both, you see that Krishna and the Arjuna. Arjuna is the seeker, Krishna is the master. Both were friends. Arjuna highly respected his friend and his wisdom, but he was never interested in yoga and meditation. He knew it. Oh, this guy I know, he teaches yoga, he gives big sermons, and he is the originator of yoga. And Krishna never told him to practice yoga. We don't say anyone. I get all my students through referrals. No promotion, no marketing. Whatever the marketing and promotion, my couple of students in India, they do it. From one referral to the second to the third. See that. At the time of this dialogue, the Krishna was 89 years of age and Arjuna was 85 years of age. Can you think of it? Can you imagine in today's life? I'm giving you some references to make you understand. And we are stressed and tired. Is any one of us is 85 or 80? Do you see that? Do you see the teaching? It gives you entire perspective, the teaching. Neither I am Krishna nor you are Arjuna. So now from there, how can you say such harsh words to a guy who is intelligent, Arjuna, wise, expert? But Krishna said to him, you are in stress, it is the time to fight back, and you are in stress? Come on, where your wisdom has gone? When I have a problem, I must find the solution. I heard that a brother went to a psychiatrist. Don't take it otherwise, Kate. We are, we are all belong to. So he said, what's the problem with your brother? My brother thinks that he is a chicken. How long? For the last 1 year. So why didn't you bring him to me in the very first month? So brother said to the psychiatrist, I was waiting for the eggs. And I didn't see the eggs. I did why. So this is what happens in our modern counseling. So let us go little to the next sutra. Klavyam. You are acting like an important. Do not act like an important. You belong. You belong to the group of wise people. Why? You have lived your life, personal life, professional life, social life. Until now, you have lived your life so well. You can only live your life with that wisdom. Invoke that wisdom now. Yes, yes, yes.
This is 2 in the second chapter. Which verse is this one?
This verse, I've written it, This verse is verse number 4, I think. Yeah, second chapter, verse number 4.
Thank you.
Now see that Krishna says harsh words. You can only digest harshness from the teacher if you love the teacher, if you are a seeker, if you are committed. That is where the master and a disciple tradition is. Do you see that? Then what Arjuna says. Now, what Arjuna says. A couple of verses, we will take it. So yes, okay, let me. You want to say that I should fight. So now see that create a condition. You want me to save, you want me to, you are saying that I should fight with my honey. I should kill him or her. Oh no, that's example. That honey may be your dog or cat or your real honey or your dear near ones or your boss. Anyone. Anyone. So now what Arjuna says, what the seeker is saying now. Come on, I loved this guy for so many years, and you want me to say, you're saying that I should fight with them? What kind of a teaching is this? You see, in defense. Why I gave a reference of that research? Anxious people, those who are suffering, those who have mental challenges, their IQ is 25% more than the ordinary people. That is why they ask questions. And I have seen psychiatrists and psychotherapists get more worried about those questions because sometimes they don't have an answer. Their IQ has gone up. So the same thing. Okay. First, I was crying because of the honey. Now I'm in defense. I'm saying, you want me to kill that honey? Means divorce and fight, etc., etc. You see, I come in defense. First, he is the problem. Now I will not do what I am told to do. What is right to do? Antoinette, what is right to do? That is what the message is. And Krishna says, come on. You only learn this wisdom when you have a total confidence in the teacher. Why? Because the teacher is teaching the Eastern wisdom. So even if you get disappointed with the answer, with the humility, you ask the question. Why? You want to change your life. So, because Krishna said you are unworthy, you will not go to heaven, you are disgraceful. So, Arjuna the seeker comes in defense. Don't say this. Don't say this. You have seen people suffering from mental disorder, they come with the same defense. You see that? It is a story of Eastern psychology. Come on, how can you say that I'm disgraceful? I'm so. So now he says, it is better to leave everything in this world than to fight with anyone because it will increase my stress. Now he is coming in defense. So why he has gone to the teacher? Because I'm suffering because of you. And now what defense I'm taking? Why should I fight with him? Conflict in the mind. So when you have more conflict, normally your IQ goes up. You have a lot of rational, so called the rational thinking. But the reasoning does not help solve all the problems of life. Clarity, knowledge. So go a little deeper. So, what options we find in the battle of life when we are suffering? So, that is what the verse 25, fifth verse is. So, I told you that the second chapter we will understand little closely. This is the second. So, he gives two options. Arjuna says to the seeker, says to the master, if I avoid the fight, I would be happier. And if I fight and win, still I will suffer. See that? Do you see that? That is what our mind thinks. If I avoid fighting, I would be happier. But if I am happier, okay, I will live with whatever comes to me. I'm not ready to fight. But if I fight and win, I still have scars in my mind. My mind is tainted. I still suffer. Do you see that? I lived with my honey for so many years. Now, time to take divorce. No, with anyone, But logic is definitely sound. But the premise on which it is based is incorrect. How it is incorrect? You see, Leslie, everything is logical, clearly defined. Clearly defined. To do or not to do. And from there, we'll bring an end to this topic. To do and what not to do. That is the state of mind, right? That is the state of my mind. So to do and not to do means indecision. What is that indecision? Is dilemma. What dilemma brings? Delusion. So the master has realized that this guy is suffering from delusion and dilemma. So if you are dominated, your mind is dominated by indecision, dilemma, delusion, the intellect, which is decision making instrument, has clearly been disengaged and is not available to me. When it is not available to me, my friend, then I shed lot of tears in my eyes. You have seen Hollywood actors, they put some glycerin into the eyes and then they act the tears. I'm just reminding you. I always have tears when I look at and remember my master. Otherwise, no. Even if it is an extreme pain, those tears are tears of love. Will my master ever hate me? No. No. Will he ever hide my ignorance? No and never. Compare the same. Will my honey ever hide my ignorance? Yes, before others. So, does my honey really love me? According to Eastern wisdom, no attachment, obsession is there. That is what Gita teaches. Now I'm just giving you. More and more you study, the more deeply you understand your own self. What is the study of Gita? To study yourself. Do you see that? So, delusion, dilemma comes there. Let me pick up one more. So he says karpanya dosu. There is another word that we will take up, and then Krishna answers. You see that? I told you that those people suffer, those who have a chronic mental problem, their IQ goes up. So now this seeker who is suffering from lot of stress and grief, he is posing lot of questions. Defense. So there is another defense. What is that defense? What is that defense? That difference is because of low level of self-awareness. And from there, we'll bring an end to this. What is that low level of self-awareness? I think I explained you before also. Dog is also conscious of the world, but dog lives at the lower level of self-awareness. How do we know? Because when this dog watches its own image in the mirror, he either starts fighting starts swinging his tail. Come on, my friend. Come on, my friend. And I have seen many videos of this. This German Shepherd, they start fighting with their own image, and then they try to go behind the mirror. But normally in our house there is nothing behind. So they clearly understand that this guy is different from me. So, because we live at a higher level of self awareness, yoga demands you should live at a higher level of self awareness, then only you can treat the path of yoga. Otherwise, forget it. Otherwise, you will be engaged in doing a headstand posture, half an hour of right nostril breathing or left nostril breathing. They are good. I'm not saying they are good at certain point, but when we talk of yoga, so self awareness should be fully developed. So Krishna is taunting, asking, and that is why he says you are important. Are you a human being? Do you live at the fully developed self awareness? From that fully developed self awareness, you can solve every problem. Why? Fully developed self awareness means I have a freedom. What kind of a freedom? I have a freedom to separate myself from the stress. I have a freedom to observe, choose, and control. I have a freedom to think what is right and good. No, no, Alexandria causes so much of harm to me, and I'm totally upset. This is not highly self developed awareness. Can I be objective? Can I observe, choose, and control in every situation? If you complete all the 18 chapters, you are rested like a lion and a tiger in the forest. Normally, the teacher in the Eastern wisdom is like a tiger. I'll tell you that, and then we'll have a few questions. So, what is that? What did I say? I said that In Eastern wisdom, what is in Eastern wisdom? We have a teacher of the Eastern wisdom like a tiger. And do you know the story? A cub lion just born, lost in the forest, and that cub lion, got caught by the herd of the buffaloes, grown up there. So when the tiger and the lion changes, that cub lion also is frightened and running like a buffaloes. One day the lion said, "Oh, that cub lion running like a buffaloes in their cubs, so much frightened. I have to teach him a lesson. He is not buffalo. He is lion and tiger." So anyhow, the lion caught this cub lion, pushed him to the river. "Look yourself, you are like me. You're not buffalo cub. Why you are scared of me?" And cub lion understood. The lion said, "Roar like me. He has all the equipment necessary. He roared like a lion." He left the company of the buffaloes. We all are lion. We act like a cub buffaloes. When we claim that I have lot of suffering and grief in my life, what should I do? See that what the master is teaching. Just we have completed 5 verses. Choice is yours. Are you a cub lion? You are. But do you treat yourself you are a cub buffalo? This is the message. Master is saying, don't treat yourself crazy, friend. You are important. You will not go anywhere. Think, contemplate, live with that right knowledge in your intellect, and you will see the result. We have a lot to think, we have a lot to understand. This is just the beginning. That is all for today. Thank you. So I
Thank you.
believe